Hi Aries, the Awakened Dreamer here to give you a monthly money and career tarot reading for the month of October 2021. I do want to genuinely thank you for joining me as I struggle to say it, but I also want to remind you in this moment to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already, okay? We're going to start by pulling a couple messages from the Soul's Journey deck as I adjust my seat, how I'm sitting. Do keep in mind that this is a general intuitive monthly read for the sign of my lovely strong Aries. So do take what resonates, leave it doesn't for somebody else, and check out the other placements within your chart for more messages, okay? One more shuffle this way. For my lovely Aries to begin this monthly money and career read for October 2021. For Aries. Okay, this feels right. Okay, self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others at the bottom of the deck, as well as patience. So there's going to be a focus on you desiring a level of freedom, whether it's financial or within your career, and as well on your self-esteem and patience throughout the month of October. I need to have an immense amount of both, okay? So we're beginning with worry. I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. And so a lot of you will surprise yourself, and maybe even other people around you, by worrying to a certain extent. Or you may find somebody in your work environment is just worrying way too much and their energy is a bit contagious. And a reminder comes through from the universe at several times, at several points throughout the month, that worrying will not change the outcome. To just work, move forward, do what you have to, but implement self-care all the meanwhile. Not to stress yourself out in the process, okay? Feels like you're trying to get something off the ground, or trying to get a new job, waiting for a certain message to come in, whether it's to receive a job or to get a loan approved, and worrying about it is not going to help. Just to have a bit of patience and believe in oneself as you wait or just work towards a new level of success, okay? Adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. And so I do feel like there's going to be a couple obstacles throughout the month of October for my lovely strong Aries, but I don't feel like it's going to get the best of you. And if it irritates you or gives you a bit of anxiety or just stresses you out, just allow yourself to not be so hard on yourself, I feel I need to say. Allow yourself to move forward and just understand that obstacles are a part of life, right? I feel like you might have a little bit of a financial setback that doesn't make you happy, whether a new bill comes in that you don't expect, or you re-examine your debt or something of the sort. A lot of you feeling as if it's easy to compare your struggles, your challenges within your career and finances, as well as the successes up until this point, to other people in your life or in your work environment. Try not to do that. When you find yourself about to compare or starting to compare to others, take a step back, gather your thoughts, simplify things for yourself, meditate if need be, because you, at the end of the day, are on your own path and they're on their own, right? So everyone goes through their own successes, challenges, ups and downs. Doubt. I release the need to know all the answers. So again, I feel like there's a certain part of the month where you might doubt yourself or lack that hefty amount of self-esteem that you might be used to, or people are used to seeing from you, come from you. And at certain points in the month, you may want to know more about the future of your career, the future of your financial situation, or why certain mishaps or certain situations took place within your career in the past. And you're going to be reminded by the universe that you don't need all the answers. So trust in the mystery of your situation and the mystery of life and how things are meant to unravel. I feel as if things are going to work out for you, and it just feels like a bit of an up and down kind of month, okay? Just keeping it real. We're going to continue by pulling 6 tarot cards from the Light Seers tarot deck. Just do some initial shuffling as I struggle. You may find yourself at multiple times throughout the month just being like, the struggle is real. The struggle is real. But I wouldn't be surprised if people in the midst around you in your work environment or just in your life in general are struggling as well, okay? For Aries, to continue this monthly money career read for October 2021. I also feel like there's going to be a focus on completion as I'm looking at the 3 circles on the oracle cards. We're pulling the 6 right from the top of the deck. Okay. Interesting. So with the 2 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, as well as the 7 of Wands, again, I said meditation, remember? I feel like a lot of you Aries would benefit from it, but it feels like you're balancing yourself out, or at least trying to do so throughout the month. Feeling like you're going through a bit of a juggling act, either working multiple jobs or just having to accomplish a lot, right? Or at the very least having a lot on your mind when it comes to your career and your financial situation. And as I had mentioned before, completion is going to be a true focus as we begin with the Sun. You might have Leo in your chart or be dealing with one, but you begin the month surprising yourself with an immense amount of energy, feeling a bit happy at certain points in this first chunk of the month, and then you kind of dip in energy and dip in sort of self-esteem or in your hope for what's ahead. Your mood might just kind of fluctuate up and down throughout this first chunk or in the month in general. But being aligned with the worry card, it's this sort of moment that reminds you that you don't need to worry, right? That you don't need to stress over your finances, over if you're going to pay this bill or not, or about the future of your career, or whether or not you'll be employed in a certain amount of time. So kind of take a deep breath and just allow for yourself to maintain that level of happiness, right? A reminder comes through from the universe that certain situations, whether it was a job or something that helped you financially, or just reminds you that certain situations come to an end in your life for a reason, and it leads you to a new level of happiness or a new purpose in one way, shape, or form. Interesting. And I feel like you'll be doing a lot of reflecting in this first chunk of the month as well on whether or not a job situation or a financial obligation makes you happy, or if it sort of depletes you to a certain extent. King of Cups. And so you make your way to the middle of the first half of the month, and there's this level of peace that comes over you. You being pushed by the universe to, again, it keeps coming up. I feel like meditation will be truly key for you, and I feel like I'm almost wasting my breath, because a lot of you may not want to or even consider that, but it will benefit you to say the least. But a level of peace comes over you when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your career. You may find that certain people are stressed out around you, and you're just like, it is what it is, I'm just going to keep working, I'm going to keep doing what I need to, but I'm just no longer going to stress. It was the beginning of the first half of the month that just sort of reminds you not to worry, right? It reminds you to kind of just take care of oneself and do what you have to at the end of the day. That's all you can really do. I feel like you'll implement a new level of self-care at between the first chunk and the middle of the first half, where if you look here, you'll be glowing on a different level. People will start to notice that. I feel like you'll start to attract new opportunities, or you'll start to attract new levels of abundance. But being aligned with the adversity card, I just feel like this is when it will be it'd be easiest to compare your situation to others, the good and the bad, the ups and the downs. But it's just this part where you'll go from either comparing to just feeling peaceful, or go from peaceful to feeling the need to compare. And a need to remember that if you do experience any little obstacles within this chunk of the month, to just take a deep breath, do what you have to overcome it, to sort of clean up what feels like maybe a small little financial mess, and just keep moving forward, okay? I just feel like you'll go from sort of very energetic for the most part in the first chunk of the month to very kind of peaceful and maybe a bit drained in the middle of the first half, okay? Again, I feel like just as if there's a lot of ups and downs throughout the month, okay? The 6 of Cups to move right along. And so as you make your way to wrap up the first half of the month, you'll feel very nostalgic. After a chunk of the month where it's easiest to compare yourself to others and their struggles, their successes, their path, if you will, you can't help but finish up the first half of the month thinking back to old jobs, old connections within jobs or that came from them. A lot of you thinking thoroughly about how your career and finances affected your love life in one way, shape, or form. I see a lot of Aries thinking back to their first job, regardless of how old you were when you started working, and just being like, wow, I've come a long way, or wow, this is not the direction I expected to head in, or it's where I would be at this point in time. But feeling like a lot of you want to make a purchase or adopt a pet, like a dog or a cat, and thinking thoroughly about that, and thinking back to old pets and stuff like that. Don't know where that came from. It's also to finish up the first half of the month where you might doubt yourself to a certain extent, thinking back to where you've come from, all that you've achieved, all that you kind of failed at when it comes to your career choices, decisions, and your financial decisions as well, and your choices in that category. Feeling like you need to sort of take a step back and remember that you don't need to have all the answers as well. You wanting to, thinking back and being like, well, if I knew this was going to happen, I wouldn't have made this choice or that choice. But just understanding that's life, right? You need to trust in the mystery of it. And I feel like some blanks will be filled in regards to your career past or why you ended up making a financial decision in one way, shape, or form. It's this kind of moment where you're like, oh, okay, so if I didn't make that choice that I regret now, this wouldn't have happened, which was positive or led to this, and that kind of moment, right? Moving on to the world to begin the second half of the spread of month. It's this feeling that you begin the second half of the month and you're coming to terms with the fact that your world is changing. Again, a circle, all about completion. A reminder as to why a certain situation came to an end, or why you're sort of debating on giving up a job or something that benefits you financially, or deciding to make a purchase to move towards something more beneficial for you. Being aligned with the sun, which is some beautiful energy coming through. It's this feeling that a lot of Aries make their way to this point in the month just with this strong kind of confident attitude where you're like, I'm not going to worry anymore. I'm not going to sort of allow myself to doubt what's ahead or what I'm meant to achieve. And you're just sort of elevated by implementing more self-care and just feeling confident. And your energy is just sort of extremely powerful and glowing at this point that people can't help but feel drawn to you, right? And it's interesting because we had three sort of, I want to say worrisome or negative oracle cards, and then this reading's kind of turning out quite beautiful. The energy at the end of the month is a little bit heavy, but it's just this reminder at this point in the month that, again, completions, new beginnings, everything happens for a reason to lead you to more happiness, or at least to more financial comfort and more stability. And a reminder that you need to feel at least somewhat fulfilled and complete when it comes to the work you do on a day-to-day basis or on a week-to-week basis, and to remember that you can't just work a job that doesn't fulfill you or that you don't feel passionate about, right? And this may initiate a change up or a switch up in one way, shape, or form, or an adjustment within your current career, or it just might allow you to feel better about where you're at. I feel like a lot of you expected for things to have progressed even more so at this point than they have, but just again, it just feels like this overall feeling of you just being like, I'm where I need to be, you know? Things are going to just either start to move in the right direction, or I'm content where I'm starting to, in the way things are progressing and falling into place. Judgment. And so that's moving into the middle of the second half of the month. It's this level of true honesty that you have with yourself as you sort of release all that worry, fear, and all that sort of lack of self-esteem, and gain a new level of patience, but also needing to just be honest with yourself as to where you want to be within a couple months, within a year, within 5 years, but not overthinking it, right? Feeling like you may be adding something to your bucket list when it comes to how you want to spend your money, or even, you know, just fun things you want to accomplish, right? Or some of you wanting to add more to your bucket list when it comes to career success, you know, things you want to achieve in your lifetime. But being aligned with the King of Cups, I think you shock a lot of people, or you even shock yourself with how peaceful you are due to the releasing of all of which that we talked about, or releasing, for some of you, a job, right, that isn't working for you anymore. Please just tread carefully and trust your intuition when making big decisions like that. But it just feels like, again, you're implementing more self-care, you're taking care of yourself, and this new level of honesty with yourself, or you may be feeling very honest with others, is benefiting you in a lot of ways. Again, it's initiating certain changes, adjustments, or it's just allowing you to feel better about where you're at. Or it's just kind of you lighting fire under your ass, I feel the need to say, but in a peaceful way. Interesting. 9 of Swords. So this was the heavy energy I was speaking upon as we make our way to wrap up the month. And you just feeling like it's a bit hard to sleep, right? You go to bed, or you try to, and you overthink your finances, or you find yourself just thinking thoroughly about your career, or you just find yourself dreaming a lot about the future of your job and your finances, or the past when it comes to your career and finances. And a lot of you needing to just not overthink them, right? Some of which may be helpful, some may not be. So just allow yourself to stay in the present moment when you're awake and just move towards the success you deserve as you make your way to finish up the month. But it's interesting I mentioned that beyond with the Six of Cups, because it just feels like a lot of memories will pop up in your dreams, and you might find yourself waking up at multiple times in the middle of the night when you make your way to finish up the month, and it just kind of disturbs you or bothers you or throws you off. And you might find yourself making your way into November a bit exhausted due to this taking place at the end of the month. But I don't feel like it's going to get you down. It may leave you a bit irritated or a bit flustered. Just don't allow it to get the best of you to the point of you wanting to overreact when you see a bill you didn't expect, or when you have to sort of deal with a difficult situation in your work environment. Feeling like it's just a little rough patch towards the end of the month, but for the most part, pretty good energy as you make changes and adjustments in your favor. So we're going to finish up by pulling a message or two from the Small Making Magic deck for my lovely Aries. That is not the one we're going with. For Aries, to wrap up this monthly money and career read. Insight opens the third eye to strengthen intuition, as well as healing, true healing of the mind, body, and soul. And then we have Philosopher's Stone at the bottom of the deck talking about manifestation of wishes and goals through universal energy. But it's just this feeling that you're going through a level of healing as you understand things just a little bit better, where you're pushed to trust the mystery of the universe, of how things are meant to unravel, as you again go through this bit of healing, and you release what you need to in order to see things happen in the way they're meant to. Okay? So Aries, I hope this reading was truly helpful. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I am wishing nothing but the best. Hope you have the most amazing month, and I'll see you next time. Bye, Aries.